Hi, I'm Liz Camfiord with Penguin Random House Library Marketing, and I'm here to tell you about three outstanding nonfiction books publishing in spring of 2023. Beginning with There Will Be Fire by Rory Carroll. This is a race against the clock narrative, taking readers to October 12, 1984 at 2:54 a.m. when a bomb planted by the Irish Republican Army exploded at the Grand Hotel in Brighton, England. It was the last day of the Conservative Party conference there, and 5 people were killed. Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher was in her suite at the time, preparing her keynote address. Had she been just a few feet in another direction, she would have been killed. This is the first nonfiction book to focus on the Brighton bombing. It's perfect for fans of Patrick Radden Keefe's Say Nothing, where the bombing is mentioned only briefly. Rory Carroll, our author, is a veteran journalist for The Guardian based in his native Dublin. He remembers listening to news of the bombing when he was 12 years old. His interviews for the book include the convicted bomber Paddy McGee, who wrote a memoir. In his compelling letter to readers at the front of the book, Rory writes, with Margaret Thatcher as polarizing in death as in life, and Sinn Féin, once the IRA's political wing, now a respectable party of government, the IRA plot to kill its greatest foe is in danger of becoming myth. It is vital to remember what actually happened. And then we have Poverty by America by Matthew Desmond. Here, Pulitzer Prize-winning author of Evicted gives us a startling expose on poverty, asking why the United States, the richest country on earth, has more poverty than any other advanced democracy. In this landmark book, Desmond draws on history, research, and original reporting to show that affluent Americans knowingly and unknowingly work to keep poor people poor. The well-off exploit the poor, driving down their wages while forcing them to overpay for housing and access to cash and credit. And we stockpile opportunity in exclusive communities, creating zones of concentrated riches alongside zones of concentrated despair. This is a compassionate book, giving us as readers new ways of thinking about a morally urgent problem. Desmond calls for a new anti-poverty movement, providing concrete solutions and gently leading us to ask, how can I live a moral life amidst all this poverty? And how can I help to end it? This is important reading for all Americans and will appeal especially to readers of Barbara Ehrenreich and fans of the memoir and its TV adaptation, The Maid. And lastly, for me, The Wager by David Grann. David is the author of the phenomenal best-selling book, Killers of the Flower Moon. The Wager is a story of shipwreck culminating in a court-martial. It takes us to January 28th, 1742, when a ramshackle vessel washed up on the coast of Brazil with 30 emaciated men, barely alive. They had an extraordinary tale to tell. They were survivors of His Majesty's ship, The Wager, which was a British vessel that had left England 2 years earlier during a war with Spain. It had wrecked on a desolate island off of Patagonia, and after being marooned for months and facing starvation, they built the flimsy craft, sailed for more than 100 days over stormy seas, and they were greeted as heroes. But 6 months later, an even more decrepit craft landed on the coast of Chile with 3 castaways. They told a different story. The 30 sailors who had landed in Brazil were not heroes. They were in fact mutineers. It became clear that while stranded on the island, the crew had fallen into anarchy, and whomever the court found guilty could hang. This is told with the pacing of a thriller. It rivals the maritime fiction of Patrick O'Brian and survival classics like The Endurance. Gran spent months in the Royal Navy archives and discovered quite the cast of characters, including Lord Byron's grandfather, who was a midshipman. He wrote of the crew that it consisted of highwaymen, burglars, adulterers, imposters, parasites, etc. This is an ideal book for readers of Eric Larson, Candice Millard, and Ian Fraser. Thank you so much for your attention.
Hi, I'm Kelly Coyle-Crivelli from the Penguin Random House Library Marketing Team, and I'm here to talk to you about mystery and thrillers coming in early spring of 2023. These books are set in Paris, New Delhi, and in a quiet suburban home, but all the settings will soon become characters of their own, filling the pages of these 3 books with suspicion, intrigue, and struggle. The first book that we're going to talk about is Night Flight in Paris from Cara Black. It is once again up to American markswoman Kate Reese to take the shot that just might win or lose World War II. In the follow-up to the national bestseller 3 Hours in Paris, we see Kate again. It's October of 1942. It's been 2 years since Kate Reese was sent to Paris on a British Secret Service mission to assassinate Hitler. Kate is now a sharpshooter instructor in the Scottish Highlands, but her quiet life is violently disturbed when Colonel Stepney, her former handler, drags her back into the fray for a dangerous three-pronged mission in Paris. Each task is more dangerous than the next. Kate will encounter sheiks and spies, poets and partisans as she races to keep up with the constantly shifting nature of her assignment. Black has crafted another heart-stopping thrill ride that reveals a portrait of Paris at the height of the Nazi occupation. Next up is All That Is Mine, I Carry With Me, from the New York Times bestselling author of Defending Jacob. So you know it's going to be intense. A mother vanished, a father presumed guilty. There is no proof. There are no witnesses. For the children, there is only doubt. One afternoon in 1975, 10-year-old Miranda Larkin comes home from school to find the house eerily quiet. Her mother is missing. Nothing is out of place. Even her pocketbook is in the front hall, where it usually is. So begins a mystery that will span a lifetime. What happened to Kate Larkin? Investigators suspect Jane's husband, but he's a criminal defense attorney, so surely he could be an expert in outfoxing the police. The case fades from public's memory, and Jane's 3 children are left to be raised by a man who may or may not have murdered their mother. 2 decades later, the remains of Jane Larkin are found. The investigation is awakened. The children, now grown, are forced to choose sides. Is their father guilty or innocent? And what if they are wrong? This is a tale about family secrets and vengeance, but also about family love and growing up. And Landay masterfully grapples with a primal question. When does loyalty reach its limit? Last up from me is Age of Vice by Deepti Kapoor. This is a fun, fast-paced thrill ride where money, pleasure, and power are everything, and the family ties that bind us can also kill. It's New Delhi. It's 3 a.m. There's a speeding Mercedes. It jumps the curve. In the blink of an eye, there are 5 people dead. It's a rich man's car, but when the dust settles, there is no rich man at all. Just a shell-shocked servant who cannot explain the strange series of events that led to this crime. Deftly shifting through time and perspective in contemporary India, this is an epic, action-packed story propelled by the seductive wealth, startling corruption, and bloodthirsty violence of the Wadia family, loved by some, loathed by others, and feared by all. This is an intoxicating novel of gangsters and lovers, forbidden romance, consequences of corruption. It is binge-worthy entertainment at its best. We hope you enjoy all of our upcoming mysteries and thrillers. This was just a little sneak peek. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kate McManus from the Penguin Random House Library Marketing Team, and today I'm going to be sharing 3 biographies and memoirs in 3 minutes for spring 2023. First up is The Kneeling Man, my father's life as a Black spy who witnessed the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. by Lita McCullough-Slutsky. This is an intimate and heartbreaking story of a Black undercover police officer who famously kneeled by the assassinated Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his daughter's pursuit of the truth about her father. Merrill McCullough, the Kneeling Man, was a member of an activist group called the Invaders who worked with King in his final days. What many did not realize was that McCullough had a secret identity as an undercover Memphis police officer reporting on the activities of the group. Merrill McCullough was a Black man working as a spy for a white power structure. This was so far from Lita's understanding of what it meant to be Black in America and everything she eventually devoted her life and career to. She set out to learn what she could about her father's life, work, and motivations. But with that decision came risk. What would she uncover about her father, and what did she really want to know? Next, from Ava Chin comes Mott Street, an incredibly personal history of the Chinese Exclusion Act, told through a single family's journey to start a life in America. As the only child of a single mother in Queens, Ava Chin's family tree was shrouded in mystery. She decided to change this. With decades of painstaking research, not only did she discover the identity of her father, but she also found a building in New York City's Chinatown on Mott Street, where generations of both sides of her family had lived. However, with breaking the silence surrounding her family's past meant Ava also had to confront the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. the first federal law to restrict immigration by race and nationality, barring Chinese immigrants from citizenship in the United States for 6 decades. In discovering the Mott Street building, Chin also found ancestors who carried the weight of these exclusion laws and realizes that exclusion is not just a political condition, but also one that is deeply personal. Lastly, we have Rough Sleepers by Tracy Kidder, which is the inspiring story of a doctor who made a difference by caring for Boston's homeless community. Early on in his career, Dr. Jim O'Connell was offered a choice. Would he defer a prestigious fellowship that would further his career, or would he spend a year as a doctor to homeless citizens? Jim could not refuse the offer, and it later turned out to be his life's calling to work with those who sleep in the quote-unquote rough, or the homeless community. Today, Dr. O'Connell and his colleagues lead numerous outreach groups, one of which being a street team that reaches these rough sleepers by van. Tracy Kidder spent time over 5 years riding with Dr. O'Connell as he navigated the city, offering medical care and things like socks, soup, empathy, and friendship to some of the city's endangered citizens. This is an incredible, beautifully researched, and inspiring book, and it explores how one doctor has changed countless lives by facing one of American society's most shameful problems instead of just looking away. Thanks everybody for listening, and I hope you enjoy these titles.
Hi there everyone, it's Rachel with Penguin Random House Library Marketing, and these are my Spring 2023 Must-Read Fiction 3 and 3 staff picks. First up, we have Gone Like Yesterday by Janelle M. Williams. This is a lyrical debut novel about a young Black woman who travels from New York to Atlanta to find her missing brother and develops a deep bond with a Black teenage girl along the way, as both women explore their connections with family, race, music, and activism, and with the ancestors that haunt them. Williams is a dazzling writer who cleverly uses lyrics from Black musicians sung by gypsy moths to connect the two Black women, and through them shows and critiques the way Black people are perceived in our society. A coming-of-age tale and a nuanced look at what it means to be young and Black in contemporary America, Gone Like Yesterday's cool, stylistic, lyrical prose will pull you in from the first sentence. This novel is for fans of Kylie Reid, Britt Bennett, Celeste Ng, and Raven Leilani, and for readers interested in novels written from female perspectives that touch on timely topics like race, identity, family, and legacy. Next up, we have The Golden Doves by Martha Hall Kelly. Two former female spies, bound together by their past, risk everything to hunt down an infamous Nazi doctor in the aftermath of World War II. An extraordinary novel inspired by true events from the New York Times bestselling author of Lilac Girls. Martha Hall Kelly has garnered acclaim for her stunning combination of empathy and research into the stories of women throughout history and for exploring the terrors of Ravensbrück. With The Golden Doves, she has crafted an unforgettable story about the fate of Nazi fugitives in the wake of World War II and the unsung female spies who risked it all to bring them to justice. This is a highly anticipated standalone novel with conversation-starting themes perfect for book clubs, as well as for fans of historical espionage thrillers like Kate Quinn's The Diamond Eye, Laura Prescott's The Secrets We Kept, and Flynn Barry's Northern Spy. Finally, we have Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. This is an explosive, hotly anticipated debut novel from the New York Times bestselling author of the short story collection Friday Black, about two top women gladiators fighting for their freedom within a depraved private prison system not so far removed from America's own. What Tommy Orange calls a new and necessary American voice. Once again, Nana is probing essential issues through genre-bending literary fiction. Here, he's using the private prison industry to discuss racism, capitalism, and the criminal justice system. This is perfect for fans of Colson Whitehead, Marlon James, Boots Riley's Sorry to Bother You, and Jordan Peele's films. And that's it for my Spring 2023 Must-Read Fiction 3 and 3 picks. Happy reading, everyone!